Infertility is very strongly connected to the disease of endometriosis. For some people with endometriosis, the only symptom that they experience is infertility. And the number of people with endometriosis who experience infertility is really, really high. It's 30 to 50%. Now, endometriosis also impacts reproductive organs, the ones needed to have babies, the ones needed for healthy fertility. And so there can be actual physical obstructions to the organs needed that would impact the health of the organs, complicating things even more in an infertility case. And somebody doesn't need to have stage 3 or 4 endometriosis to experience infertility. They could be experiencing minimal endo as well and still deal with infertility. Now, here's where it gets a little spicy. And I always think of this when I see people who are on a TTC journey, when I see people who are trying to conceive and they haven't really explored what the root cause reason is for that infertility, but instead they've just decided to go gung-ho with all these expensive, mentally, emotionally exhausting treatments, where had a doctor stopped and said, let's figure out why you're experiencing infertility, they may have gotten more answers and gotten better care. The reason I say that is because the prevalence of endometriosis in people who experience infertility increases dramatically to like 25 to 50%. So where do you start if you're either have been diagnosed with endometriosis or you suspect you may have endometriosis and you're experiencing infertility? Where do you start? You start by going and seeing an endometriosis specialist, a deep excision surgeon, someone who's been fellowship trained and skilled in the treatment of endometriosis, but also even more so if it's possible to find one who also is very well versed in fertility. Because the starting point is in the multidisciplinary approach that's required here is deep excision surgery, which is removal of disease. I can attest to the fact that that one thing happening resulted in me being pregnant for the first time in my life. It did end in a miscarriage, but then I ended up pregnant a second time and have a healthy 2-year-old right now. And I was experiencing infertility before I had deep excision surgery. I didn't do any medications. I didn't do any IVF. I didn't do any fertility treatments at all. The only thing that I had done was deep excision surgery, and then I also did lifestyle changes, which included diet changes, things like that. Back to current treatment protocols. So you would start with deep excision surgery, and then you may still, unfortunately, require fertility treatments like IVF or IUI. All of this is to say, if you are experiencing infertility and you don't actually know why, and you have symptoms of endometriosis, please consider that as a possible factor.